fascinating. You may be thinking, why the sinusoidal party, or what relevance do trigonometric functions have in my life? Well, look around you and these answers should appear. Everything is made of a wave. Light takes the form of a wave, it has a frequency and a wavelength. The electromagnetic force exerts its influence in the form of a wave. Gravity causes the attraction between masses through gravitational waves. In fact, scientists studying quantum mechanics have proposed that matter itself may act as both a particle and a wave. Waves are ubiquitous and comprise everything in our world. Therefore, the equations that describe waves also subtly describe worlds on the macroscopic level. These equations are sinusoidal functions. Due to the intimate relationship between waves and reality, the Sinusoidal Party exists to educate the citizenry and apply sinusoidal functions to the complex world.
The Sinusoidal Party is not defined by the current political spectrum. Its views are not strictly conservative, liberal, or any combination of the two. Any attempt to tie the Sinusoidal Party down to the current political spectrum would result in the arithmetic average of the position of each platform as it stands on the political spectrum. Such a calculation would provide misleading results that would provide no useful information about the party's stances. Instead, we invite you to consider each party platform and its relationship with the trigonometric party foundation.
Expert analyst of major events, Edward Dewey. The frequency of international battles are distinctly patterned. In fact, the number of wars between 1050 and 1915 are dictated by a roughly sinusoidal graph. By applying this tendency to our current era, Dewey asserts, this 142-year pattern calls for a less than average number of battles for the 71-year period from 1985 to 2056. Assuming that this reliable relationship will hold true, the United States should expect fewer large wars in the coming years and an imminent relative minimum number of battles. The need for a strong military will diminish in the near future. Therefore, the Sinusoidal Party will defund the military and use a greater proportion of the annual budget to instead fund scientific research. Many Republicans take a hawkish stance that supports military endeavors that are poorly timed or exacerbate conflict.
Americans are stupid. We are below 35 countries in mathematics and 23 countries in science internationally. In order to maintain our title as the world's superpower, we need to cut out all distractions and focus only on STEM subjects. Most current political parties continue to advocate for a profusion of pointless ELA courses, while our nation's mathematical and scientific education suffer. Our education goals, including the following: to fully educate America's youth in critical branches of science, to remove all extraneous English and history courses from schools, require that all students be proficient in all mathematics courses up to including calculus by graduation. The Sinusoidal Party's education reform will foster a thoughtful citizenry and knowledgeable workforce that will challenge the other nations' leading professionals in every field.
Hello. This display graphs the difference between the average sea temperature in the northern Atlantic Ocean and the southern Atlantic Ocean. Although the current trend dictates an increase in this disparity, the overall trend is sinusoidal. While it is true that a surplus of carbon dioxide augments the greenhouse effect, causing our planet to gain more energy from solar rays, one must take a closer look at the graphical display. The graph is incomplete. It only shows a fraction of the period of the complete graph, which is sinusoidal. The carbon dioxide concentrations of the atmosphere, while currently increasing, will soon reach a maximum and consequently decrease. Therefore, we need not worry about global warming and should abolish all activities that concern this factitious issue. Both Republicans and Democrats provide inessential funding towards defeating this non-existent threat.
These displays illustrate another point. Sinusoidal waves are not only naturally occurring in the material world around us, but they are also occurring naturally in climate and weather patterns. It is our goal as a Sinusoidal Party to make sure that the humans and pollution do not usurp the beautiful respective functions of nature. Thus, the Sinusoidal Party will ensure these continued processes while transitioning to renewable energy. The Sinusoidal Party will fund the construction of artificial carbon dioxide releasers that expel carbon dioxide in such amounts that cause atmospheric carbon dioxide concentrations to follow a smooth sinusoidal curve. Also, after the Sinusoidal Party gains control of the education system, we will create intellectual genius children who will solve the conundrum of efficient renewable energy. Both major parties are content with allowing the coal and oil industries to thrive at the expense of our environment.
As one can see, a sinusoidal graph may be used to represent the number of immigrants in the United States and their percents. While the current Republican Party is dying to end illegal immigration and wasting their time trying to come up with solutions without executions, the Sinusoidal Party is always analyzing these trends by manipulating immigration to the point of creating a sinusoidal graph, time on the x-axis. It will allow the United States to create the perfect environment for allowing opportunity for immigrants while not taking jobs away from Americans.
The liberal view of the Democratic Party on immigration is that the United States should accept immigrants with open arms through loose immigration policies. The conservative view of the Republican Party is that the United States should be much more strict on accepting immigrants into the U.S. Our party supports strict policies on immigration about 50% of the time, and very loose policies on immigration the other 50%. This allows the amount of immigrants coming into the country to follow a sinusoidal function. Our party's stance on immigration is a mix between Democratic and Republican views.
Adios, pardon my Spanish. I bet you won't be surprised to learn that the economy also obeys the commanding forces of sinusoidal nature. It is commonly known that the stock market, our best indicator of the state of the economy, falls into recession about every 7 years. Although the actual stock market graphs are dictated by a more complex motion than a sine graph, the stock market is undoubtedly periodic. The Sinusoidal Party will utilize data gained from sinusoidal graphs to predict the economy's behavior and tailor taxation and appropriations based on the imminent economic state. The Sinusoidal Party will increase federal funding when our sinusoidal models, developed by our child prodigies, predict a recession, and decrease federal funding when the models predict inflation. The Democratic and Republican parties changed federal funding based on the state of the economy. However, unlike the Sinusoidal Party, they wait until periods of inflation or recession to alter their funding, leading to incredible inefficiencies and damaged families.
Oops. The world's resources are strictly limited. According to Thanos in Avengers Infinity War, it's simple calculus. The universe is finite. Its resources are finite. There is only so much land that can produce so much food that can be irrigated by so much water. The world's resources can only sustain so many humans, and our current population growth, although naturally sinusoidal, will reach a maximum that exceeds the number of humans that can be supported by our planet. Therefore, the population must be drastically reduced. The Sinusoidal Party will make strides to stabilize the population's growth by regulating the number of people who die and the number of people being born. Each year, a quota of number of dead people and born people needs to be produced. If the quota of people born is not met, there will be a random drawing from legally married citizens to produce more offspring. If the quota for death is not reached, there will be a drawing from citizens 40 years old and older to be sentenced to death. This will be the most efficient and effective way of maintaining a stable and healthy population. Jumbo. Republicans and Democrats allow the world's population to run rampant. If their policies continue to be instated, then the world's resources will fail to satisfy the world's population, and a diminished quality of life will follow.
The Sinusoidal Party is the oasis of the modern political world. It offers such simplicity and logic that is unmatched by any other political party. Join the Sinusoidal Party today and encourage your friends to join by reciting the following poem.
2, 1.
Don't
mind.
mind.
The sun will
The
shine.
sun
The
will
world,
shine.
the world, all
The
of our
world
it's
is
yours
yours
and mine. Our party, one
Our
party.
party
It's very
is
fine.
very
Signs and the
fine.
cosine. Bring the cosine
Sine,
back in.
cosine,
Now,
cosine,
to the next
sine.
line.
Follow the sinusoidal line.
The position of your life is negative.
Remember,
The acceleration is always positive.
Ride the wave.
Ride the wave!
ride the wave.
Ride the wave! Don't zoom out yet.
Instead, use your time by coming up with sinusoidal.
Are you kidding me, Liam? You just farted. Are you Liam?
To expert analyst of major events Edward Dewey, the frequency of international events.
Yes, we already answered that.
Jumbo.
1.
Don't whine,
the
sun will shine.
Wait, sorry.
Is that the United States should accept immigrants with open arms, with loose.
Hello.
Did the dogs eat?